I'm on a journey to become the most proficient music producer I can be, so I'm making every hip-hop subgenre. Hey, before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're notified when the next video drops. Let's get into the video. Today's subgenre, industrial hip-hop. This one is not my forte. I'm not well versed in industrial hip hop. Heard a little bit of it probably, but I've never made industrial hip hop. I guess I'm gonna go do some research. I'm gonna listen to some industrial hip hop for a while, get my head wrapped around it, and see if I can make something. All right, so after diving into this, I pretty much figured out I don't know anything about industrial hip hop. I've heard a bit of industrial music, but as far as like how this sound came together, where it came from, I really didn't know any of that. So for the origin of industrial hip hop, we're gonna go back to 1985. We're going to go to Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart was the former singer of the pop group, and he ended up collaborating with the band from Sugar Hill. Put out an album, As the Veneer of Democracy Starts to Fade. I listened to that album, and personally, I didn't find it to be like really hip hop that much. I don't know if that's just me, but I didn't find it like, it's not like rapping on it. It's just kind of loosely associated with hip hop, I guess, in the rhythms and maybe the production styles. And I guess because it's the Sugar Hill band, you can call it hip hop. If you listen to this, you'll have no idea it's Sugar Hill. The sound of the record is, I mean, when you think about the sound of Sugar Hill, it's like an R&B group with the Sugar Hill guys rapping. And this is so far removed from that, you wouldn't even recognize it. Later on, though, we get a group called Tackhead, which is Arian Sherwood, and he's collaborating with the Sugar Hill band. And that does give you some resemblance of Sugar Hill, and way more hip-hop in that. Still not a ton of rapping, but Tackhead to me kind of sounded like a Run DMC a little bit in the instrumentals. In 1986, we get a group called the Beatniks. They were formed in San Francisco. Again, I don't find it to be like super hip hop forward. It's more just like industrial rock and punk and other things like that, but cool music nonetheless. All this early stuff really leaned more industrial and more rock and punk influenced. Stuff like 9 Inch Nails coming out later in the 90s. But getting into the present day and the modern music, that's where I found stuff that I really gravitated towards and really liked a lot more. I ended up checking out Backxwash, really liking their music, and Kim Gordon as well, liking her sound. Other stuff in this genre, you could put Death Grips in there. You could put some JPEGMAFIA stuff in there. Kanye West Yeezus. Clipping, of course, could fall in there. But with that, let's get into it. Let's try and make a beat. Totally out of my comfort zone. This is going to go good. I'm excited to just do something totally different. Where to start, though? I'm thinking maybe I start with, like, creating some space and ambience. Let me pull up Vital. Going industrial, let me go into this experiment section. Just play through some of these. Oh, I need to hook up my keyboard. Hey, what's up, guys? It's me from tomorrow, because while editing, I found out that nothing past this point has audio. So let's go back into the beat, and I'll just show you exactly how I did it. All right, so the first thing I did while getting into this beat, I wanted to get the texture and the atmosphere right, and so I went into Vital, and I grabbed this A Happy Ending of the World plugin, or preset, and I'll play you what that sounds like. Just playing single notes. Just a texture that's going to float over the beat. So then printed that out because it's just taking too much processing power to have that playing. Then use that same instrument from Vital for the chorus, but I did a little different. So I played I played chords. I just went back and forth between D minor and B flat major. That's what I did in Vital. There's these macros set up on the left-hand side, and so there's one for a bit crusher, one for a reverb, one for a delay, and one for a low-pass filter. So I took the bit crusher, and I linked it to LFO4, which has these random up and down pulses, and I put the tempo super slow. It'll turn on the bit crushing for 4 beats and then turn off, and then turn on, and then turn off. And it'll turn it on and off by different amounts, right? So then I took the reverb and the delay, and I sent those to LFO5. And on LFO5, it's just going to ramp up the amount of reverb and delay over the time that that chord is played. I delayed that pretty long, 2.8 seconds. So it's going to wait 2.8 seconds to start ramping up. And I made sure with that timing, it's going to cut off right at the end of the chord. And then replay the next one. It's going to play. It's going to build up, ramp to the end, and then just be dry again at the beginning of the next chord. So here is what that one sounds like. Also, with this one, printed it out to audio so that I didn't have to worry about the processing power, because that one taking even more power. Here right there at the end of that chord, how it... After I was done with that instrument, I put a pad under it. So right now we're in D minor, and I really like when you just hold out the second note of the key that you're in, like throughout the entire song, or throughout a long length of it. So this is just playing an E natural note. And then this has got some EQ. It's got Valhalla Supermassive, giving it a ton of reverb. And then I just put this gain on it to bring back down the volume, because this EQ is really cranking around 1K. It's pretty soft in there, but it's adding just this atmosphere and texture that's, goes really well with the other weird instrument with this. Just gives it some space to put it in. After that, I started to structure this out, and I want to start with just that pad, and then I added in this ARP. This ARP is from Alchemy. That's called Cartoon Alien Soup. I really liked how broken up and messed up it sounded. With that, I put some automation at the beginning, just to bring us into the song. And what I automated was, it's this symmetry knob here in Alchemy. And here's what that sounds like. I like that it's starting off the song like weird and off kilter, not really able to follow exactly where you're at, and you hear it like come into time and come into the key. Moving along through this intro and verse, I have that texture start right here, and then I have a bass that starts here. It's just distorted MW from Surge. Does MW stand for mod wheel? I'm not sure. I wanted to give it some intensity now. Now I have all this more high-end textures and ambience. I need some intensity to get us driving somewhere. Right after that was brought in, I just brought in a snare for the next section. And then the last thing during this is, I bring in an 808 just real quick right here. And I built out this riser as well. And this riser is a sound in Alchemy. It's called Additive Corkscrew. It's from like the Soundscapes. Yeah, the Soundscapes Additive Corkscrew. And I pretty much automated everything within Alchemy that I could. So I automated the modulation effects within Alchemy. I think I even automated the volume. Oh, no, I didn't. I automated the cutoff in Alchemy. I automated the reverb in Alchemy. And then on my EQ, the low cut frequency started a little high and then opened it up at the end. Did the same thing with the high cut frequency, start it low and then open it all the way up as we rise. And then my favorite thing to do on a riser these days is to put Pancake 2 and make it pan back and forth while it rises. Start slow and then really speed up to the end of it. It'll give you more intensity in that riser. And then, oh yeah, I did automate the volume as well. Here's what that riser sounds like. And that reverb from Alchemy just keeps it going. Just kind of washing over as we go into the chorus. So let's get into the chorus now. The chorus, the drums. The drum sound selection was super important to this. Getting stuff that sounded maybe organic or had a little more tone than just like, say, a 808 snare or like a drum machine snare. This snare has a little bit of a, like you're hitting something metal. Let me play that so you hear what I'm talking about. Just to make it feel a little more organic. Obviously, industrial is what we're going for. Some other sounds in here. It's like metal clink. Then the hi-hats, which stayed super simple. And then accenting those hi-hats is a tambourine. Underneath the snare, on the second snare for every 8 measures, there's a big snare that just washes out under a bunch of reverb. And then my kick drum, just a really fat kick drum. So the drums all together sound like this. Then I put an 808 under that, and the 808 is just playing the first beat of every 2 bars. Real simple. Real heavy. Then with that, we talked about these chords that are playing here. The pad going with that. And then a lead that's playing in this section from Vital. This lead is cyberpunky. I forget which packet it's from. It's from this. The author is Quex. I don't remember which folder I downloaded it with, but here's how that sounds. That repeats, and then in this second half of the chorus, I brought in a different lead, a little more of a pluck sound, playing a different melody. And That's the whole beat. So why don't we give it a listen? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know if I was successful in my attempt to make an industrial hip-hop beat. Something totally out of my wheelhouse, but I tried to bring in elements that I thought fit the vibe and fit the, common sounds in that genre. Let me know if there's something you want to see next down in the comments below, and leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.